Welcome to BCDI-Charlotte, where our mission is to improve and advance the quality of life for Black and Brown children and families through education and advocacy. In today's conversation, we'll be joined by one of our very own community partners, Miss Cynthia Knight Boone of Castle's Daycare Academy. Ms. Boone has been a pillar in the Charlotte community and has really dedicated her life's work towards the advancement and the improvement of the lives of Black and Brown children and families through education. During our conversation, we'll be highlighting several of the 8 future outcomes as outlined by the National Black Child Development Institute, of which includes that every child is seen as a child, lives and plays in a safe community, is born at a healthy weight, attends a school that affirms and expands them, enjoys meals and vegetables, hangs out in a safe and appropriate internet, has books and toys that reflect who they are and can be, and breathes clean air and drinks clean water. Thank you for your time, and let's join the conversation. We have an awesome conversation today with one of our partners here at BCDI Charlotte affiliate, and we're excited to introduce to some and present to others Miss Cynthia Knight Boone. Right, I got it right.
Correct.
Good.
I
got it right this time.
You did.
So, Miss Cynthia, you've been a part of BCDI on multiple levels
Yes.
for how long? So, when did that journey start?
That journey started back, I'm going to say about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
When I had one of Miss Govan, who was the head of the association, her little girl in my program.
Okay.
And it really even started before then, but she was able to place her in my program, and she saw how quick she caught on to things by being in the program.
Gotcha.
So, of course, she became one of my parents, and we worked together at the center as a family, all of the parents. And I got to know her through that. And at that time, she was not working in the area that she's working in now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we've been here for 5 or 6 years. So that's been awesome. We're so appreciative for all the work that you do, the whole partnership. It's been amazing.
Being a partner with the Black Child Development Institute is one of the best decisions that ever happened to my life and my program.
Awesome. Amazing. So we're here to get to know you and introduce you to the rest of the world. And so tell us a little bit about where you're from and how do we get to today?
Well, as a child care director owner, I'm here today due to the fact that I always thought of myself as a teacher. Even as a child, I taught anything I knew. Anyone around me knew it as well. Okay?
Gotcha.
I just love transferring information and teaching. When I grew up, art is my thing. I love art. But as I grew up, I began to, I went to school for art at St. Augustine's College in Raleigh.
Awesome.
And became one of the most fascinated art students there. I won't forget Mr. Burchett, one of my art teachers that just meant the world to me there. There's nothing like going to a community college, a Black community college. I just enjoyed that experience because I've been to both.
Gotcha.
And I enjoyed that experience the most. It was just down home to me. So at any rate, I finished early. But, I was involved in a lot of other activities, and I just wasn't ready to leave school early. So I went ahead and double majored in education.
Gotcha.
And that worked for me well. My mother's an educator. So I've learned that both those skills has made what I do now with children possible and very positive.
Gotcha. So from St. Aug's, where did you move to from there?
Well, once I left St. Aug, I went back home to Hickory. However, I got a teaching job in Statesville, which is not too far from there.
Yep, right up 40.
Right. I taught there for a while, 2 or 3 years, and I moved back to Hickory, but I met my husband. He was from Charlotte.
Okay.
So, of course, I made the transition, and I moved here to Charlotte. And once I moved here, I didn't go into education right away because of the way things were transpiring. So I worked in I worked with Belks Corporation.
Okay.
In the management department.
Gotcha.
And I did that for 6 years.
Okay. And so you started out as a teacher before you got married, moved to Charlotte, and left education for 6 years altogether.
And then all of a sudden it just came to me. That's where I wanted to be. I'm a visionary.
Okay.
So I just saw a vision, and I saw me teaching and children and the happiness and the joy. And I said, okay, this is it. I've got to go back to teaching.
So that vision, that's pretty interesting. A lot of people are driven, life decisions are made from different events that happen, or maybe different conversations. So can you tell us a little bit more about the vision?
I'm excited to share this. When I was teaching in the school system, the elementary school system, I taught 5th grade. Okay, they placed me in the 5th grade. That was my first teaching experience. And I found that in the 5th grade that it was a artsy school, because art major, but it was an artsy school. I loved it very much as far as how things were going. But what disturbed me was I could see that the melanated children weren't reading on the scale that they should have been reading on to be in the 5th grade. I had students that had been held back, so they were kind of matured for the 5th grade. So I personally took some of these issues at hand, because we're talking about people that look like me.
Right.
Okay? And that matters to me. They matter to me. And so I kind of got a little bit discouraged with the fact that I could see that the system wasn't really working for melanated children to just be the best that they could be.
Gotcha.
They were just there, making each day count for what it was worth. And so that didn't excite me, because I'm the kind of person, if I plant a seed, I want to see a plant.
Right.
You know, if I take some paint, I want to see a picture.
Right.
And so I wasn't seeing what I really felt in my heart I should be seeing. Gotcha. And then that's what made it easier for me to transition out of the field. And I did it, like some people said, you did it very quickly. But what I saw was very urgent to me.
Gotcha.
And I didn't feel like if a child had gotten to the 5th grade and could not read, how was I going to educate that child further? You know, I felt like I needed to go back and teach them how to read first, you know, that type of thing. So anyway, that's what made it easier for me to move on out of that situation.
So what do you think about it? Because a lot of those issues, some of our children of color, have those issues, and it's not just unique to one location.
Right.
A lot of cities and towns that you go to have that. So what was it that stood out to you that really pricked your heart?
Well, I was purpose driven.
Okay.
I was purpose driven to prove something was wrong somewhere.
Gotcha.
Okay. There's just no way. I mean, I look at myself, what I could do in the 5th grade. I look at what went on in my life early in my years to help me to feel that I was a confident student, you know, that I could achieve what anyone else could achieve. Because as a matter of fact, I was one of the first, my sister and myself, when the schools integrated, we were one of the first. We went by ourselves.
Really?
Into that situation. And we were in that situation for 2 years. So I spent my 4th and 5th grade being like the only Black student in a classroom.
Wow.
All right? But I never felt that I couldn't keep up with anyone else. If they can do it, I can do it too.
Right.
If they can gather it, I can gather it too. So that kind of momentum, I did not see in the 5th grade anymore.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
By the time you were teaching, you just didn't see that sense of
Where
urgency.
did it go? You know, where's that child that's like myself, capable, that feels comfortable, that's not, you know, I didn't feel inferior. You know, I just did not. And luckily for me, it was a positive experience, because I didn't have a lot of negative intervention going on. It was just a positive experience for me. I was their interest.
Gotcha.
Okay, something that had never really been around before.
Right.
So they were watching me be me, and just happened that being the kind of person I was, it made it easy for them. You understand what I'm saying?
Understand. So from there, you transitioned out of the classroom for 6 years. And so what happened after the 6 years?
Well, I was in management, and I realized that at some point, again, I noticed that I was training. So I was still teaching. I was training customer service, how to meet people. How
So
to
teaching has been the current thread throughout the whole life.
Yeah, even in management, I was still teaching. And so I made up my mind after I had a vision that I was back in the classroom. I was sitting in my office, and I spent half the day caught up in this vision.
Wow.
And I'm in the classroom, and I see children productive and happy. And I was like, when I came to myself and realized, oh, it's time for lunch, I said, I need to go back.
Need to do something about this.
I need to go back into helping our children to gather their thoughts and move on.
I just think it's amazing that that's where your heart went. I think, a lot of times it can be easy to get into corporate America and kind of just get on a different path, but it sounds like your heart just kept pulling you back to those babies.
Pulling me right back. Because I had even taught my little sisters to read. I was the oldest of three. We had 4 girls. I was the oldest. And I had taught them as well. So we were all very, I want to say education was a thing in our home.
Gotcha.
Being that mom was a teacher.
Okay. So what was your first step to get back into the classroom?
Well, I decided I did not need to go into the classroom.
Okay.
So I worked around, a way to work with children, but I needed for them to succeed. So I felt like I needed to start before they entered the school system. So at that time, I decided I would start working with children at the age of about 2 and see what I could do to help them to be better students once they reached school age.
Okay.
And just see what kind of measures or methods, concepts I could come up with. So I took on a personal, this is my personal journey.
Gotcha. So what made you decide 2 versus a different age?
Well, I felt like they needed, I couldn't help them once they had gotten into the 5th grade. I realized that.
Okay.
So I realized it has to be a foundational move.
Okay.
All right. So then I also realized that if they got to the 1st grade in that condition, well, how was 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade going to be beneficial to me helping them? All right.
Okay.
So then I thought, well, let me just try something all the way crazy out of the box. And let me see what I can put, how much education I can put into a child in the beginning years that they could take with them and be successful.
Awesome.
And that's just been my whole game plan.
That's the whole game plan. So that is how the castles began.
Its existence. I started with 5 little girls.
Okay.
And then I went to 8 children.
Wow.
And then 13 children. I grew with 15 children, 23, and now I'm at the most I can have. The max at the facility that I'm in is 29 children.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
29.
And so when I came to visit the other week, I was amazed at, number one, I was amazed at all the kids that were there and just how smart they were.
Right.
And just how they were able to communicate and just articulate those words.
Amazing,
with,
right?
It was
Totally.
amazing.
It is.
There are a lot of kids who need that and just don't have that. And so I think it's just amazing that there is a program that's available that's locally here in Charlotte.
Right here.
Right here in Charlotte.
I've had many people say, wow, the state would be completely amazed to know that small little location is doing such great things. Where? Right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Awesome. So it sounds like you take a lot of pride in being right here from Charlotte.
I do take a lot of pride in being right here in Charlotte, and mainly because I've had people travel from other places to come see the program. And they are totally like amazed, like no one knows this is right here. Right here in this little urban area in Charlotte, North Carolina.
What do you think that reason is as to why not as many people as you would like know about it?
Number one, because I'm small. Okay. Now, many people at this point know about the program.
Okay.
They haven't really seen the program, but they've experienced the results of the program
Gotcha.
in the school systems.
Okay.
But you got to remember, I'm small. So for every year, I might graduate 12 children, let's just say. And those 12 children are placed into, right now, particular schools because the parents know they can't just place them in any school location because they're at second and third grade working levels on many capacities.
Gotcha.
So kindergarten would definitely not be beneficial to them. First grade would be a better fit. Okay, and that would be the top of the class.
Okay.
First grade. So right now I'm working on trying to find school programs that are willing to accept children above kindergarten grade level from the beginning, because a lot of them just don't believe it. They're starting to see it now. I've seen them have to replace the children. When you tell them verbally, they don't really believe. Can't be so. And I know what they're talking about.
Right.
Because I've had children go, oh, my baby's so smart.
Right.
No, they're ABCs. But what they really know is A, B, C, D, L, M, N, P.
Right.
All right? So, but as far as really knowing their letters, really knowing how to place those letters, how to group those letters, how to sound out those letters, and those type of things, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So at any rate, I understand that. But what I do now is I try to get video footage of what we do with the children. I have found that that's made it easier for them to go forth into a talk ahead of time and say, this is what my child is capable of doing.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then I write letters to say, this is what this child has experienced at Castle's Daycare Academy.
Gotcha.
So
how do you decide, or how do the children become a part of Castles?
That is something that I'm working on right now, trying to make a change. Because what I see transitioning is people don't understand that when they have a child that is hard of learning, they really do need some special attention. Castles is not that. Okay? I've had them call and say, my child, this. And I'm like, but that's not what Castles is. Castles will take an average child and turn them into a genius.
Gotcha.
Okay? But if it's someone that needs extra help and curriculum and different methods to help them to adapt, then Castle's Daycare Academy is not the program for that child.
Gotcha. So a child that shows some promise, but that just needs a little bit more.
Not even a little bit more. You can plant if the ground is fertile.
Right. You can plant it and it'll grow.
You can put the seed in.
Right.
And bloop, blossom.
Grow. So Castles is the ground.
Right.
And
what I find is parents who are climbing. I love to see parents meeting struggles. Okay. Families meeting struggles. Yes, Miss Cynthia, we're here, but this is what we're doing, or we just purchased a house here, or we're trying to do this. When you see the parents climbing, they just don't wait on others to do for them.
Right.
But they're climbing parents. Ding! That's a bell that goes off in my head.
Gotcha. That's a good sign.
Because a child will climb with parents. If the parents not climbing, they don't see any signs of upliftment.
Gotcha.
But if they can see mommy and daddy doing a little better, or mommy by herself doing a little better, daddy, then they're also that kind of person.
Gotcha. So would you say that that's just the children watching the parents, or it's just kind of something that they can kind of
Come
sense?
along.
Just come along.
Let's go. New bedroom. You're going from this to that.
Right.
We're changing from this to that. They see change, and they see a positive change. So when they're seeing those things, then they become, that's how their mind thinks. And I could come in and say, okay, boys and girls, we're going to learn something new today.
Gotcha. And that's a light bulb for them.
That's a light bulb for them. What in the world is it going to be? I can't wait to see.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So how do you see Castles fitting with the current school system? I know you talked about trying to find a way, or school programs that can help the kids kind of get a head start. But kind of what is your ultimate goal, or like what would be your ideal situation?
Well, my ideal situation is, first of all, to get parents or group of individuals that actually can experience, see the experience at Castle's Daycare Academy. like many of the teachers have seen. Now, because I am working on a small scale, I'm finding I can't give the monetary gifts that the school system can give.
Gotcha.
You understand? All those the gifts that they get. So I have to work on a level where I'm making sure that the children are receiving the gifts
Right.
that actually the adults aren't giving. Sometimes in my mindset, I see the opposite. I see teachers getting gifts, but I don't see the children receiving gifts.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay? And in my case, I make sure they're getting gifted, even if I'm not receiving the ultimate gifts that
Gotcha.
I feel we should be receiving.
Understand.
So sometimes you just have to care more. You know, it's got to be more than about the money.
Right.
You know, maybe at some point there could be some more money involved in it. But right now, you've got to have the heart to want to see the difference and see the change in our children.
Right. That's what that's what it's all about, and that's what will bring whatever needs that are just having the heart in the right place.
If your
and
heart
really
is in the right place.
really having the kids at the center and wanting to see them succeed and progress and even excel
And
beyond.
excel. And we do get gifted, our parents, because we do what we do with their children. I'm telling you, we get gifts. We get lots of love,
Right.
lots of attention, lots of parent involvement, lots of gifts. It's just not in the form of insurance
Gotcha.
and things of that nature,
Gotcha.
you know. But yeah, we are loved and we are appreciated by our parents and community.
Awesome, awesome. So can talk to me a little bit about the work that you're doing and how it coincides with BCDI.
Well, BCDI introduced my program
Okay.
to another affiliate, Charlotte,
Okay. Yep.
with Mr. Monroe Richardson. It's been a while back, not too long ago, 5 or 6 years. And what was so fascinating is she went to a meeting. Of course, I'm at a daycare, so I'm not, able to be out there in the world like that. But she was at a meeting and she was listening to him talk. And she's thinking, but that's not, I know a program. He's talking about the different difficulties he's having when he goes into certain schools and the children. She said, well, I know a program that's not happening yet. I know a program where children are reading before they turn 5.
Wow.
I know of a program where the children are, expedient about talking up and speaking out. And so she said she just waited to the end of the program. That was before she was even a part of this. She waited to the end and she spoke with him. And of course he was nonchalant because it's a daycare facility, for heaven's sake, But she said, but I promise you will be, enthused with what you're going to see. He said, I tell you what, you have her call me. If she calls me, I'll come out.
Okay.
So she asked me to give him a call, and I did. And he waited a few weeks. He had checked his calendar.
Right.
He put me in line up under the last thing that he had. But at any rate, he came out. And it was a day that changed his life.
Wow.
And I could see it. He didn't even have to explain it to me. I could see it. But he came in and he had his briefcase and his suit. And I said, listen, I'm preparing oatmeal. Okay. I said, but I've got 5 little boys. Hold on. And I said, I've got some children that can work with you while I'm finishing what I got to do.
Oh, wow. Okay. He's
So
in
I
for
went
a treat.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go in and I pick some children. And it just happened to be 5 little boys.
Okay.
Maybe that was more of them present. I don't know. Because it was early. So I said, now I'm going to put you in this classroom. And doors open. I can see y'all back here. And I'm going to go finish cooking my breakfast. He said, okay, that'll be fine. I'm cleaning up behind breakfast. He said, okay, that'll be fine. So he goes in. And when he goes in, when I come back into the room, his briefcase is over here. His jacket is off. His tie is loosened. He's down on his knees some kind of way, And I just saw and peeped in and went on about, things were good. Okay. But in the end, he could not believe what he had seen. So I had 5 little boys of different levels, maybe a 3, 4, 5, and maybe a 6-year-old, because it was summer. And I just put some books on the table. I went to the closet area and pulled out some books, and I said, now all of you all pick your favorite book and just work with Mr. Richardson, whatever he asks you to do.
Okay.
And When I came back in, he was like astonished. They read to him, even down to the 3-year-old. And what was so funny, the 3-year-old had picked this little book with Woody, little Toy Story book.
Okay.
He read 2 pages or so. He said, Mr. Richardson said, "Oh, you read so well." He said, "But wouldn't you like to know where Woody's hiding?" He said, "Oh, yes, I need to know where." So then, of course, he read the next page and it showed where Woody was hiding. But he was just so amused. Some of the books, they were chapter books.
Oh, wow.
They were books about different animals, and how the children read them were interesting. Even we had a famous ball player. I can't even remember who it was. But they could really, really speak about what they had read, just what they had read out of the books. They were very vocal. They were using articulation. He could clearly understand the words that they were speaking. So in the end, he said, "I don't really know what I just experienced.
Wow.
I know it's something I've never experienced before, and I've been all over North Carolina looking." He said, "I just left Georgia. I've been to Virginia." He said, "But I've never seen this before."
Wow.
He said, "My head is a bowl of oodles and noodles. I need to go and take the noodles and pull them out and read what's..." And I thought that was the cutest thing. But he said, "But one thing I will do, Miss Cynthia, is I will be back."
Okay.
And he did. He came back with the university because he wanted them to see it. And in turn, they did do a research on the program.
One of the things that I love about working with BCDI and Dr. Hunt is if she's anything else, she is an advocate.
Yes,
and she will
is.
go to bat if she believes in something.
She will do it.
She will go to bat.
And she has gone to bat for my program. We have a beautiful garden that that they've invested in our program 4 or 5 years ago. And you should see it right now. It's just blooming and blossoming. And the children are out there eating strawberries and vegetables out of the garden. So, you're right. And books, beautiful books she's brought to the program.
Awesome, amazing. It's one of the reasons why I decided to work with BCDI. I just love the actual work. A lot of organizations have some beautiful, awesome mission statements, and they talk a really good game. But sometimes it takes a little while for them to get around to walking the talk.
It really does.
But with Dr. Hunt and BCDI, it is right away.
Right away.
And
she's
she is determined.
Awesome young lady. Yes,
she is for sure. So we're almost done. If there's anything else that you'd like to share about Castle's Daycare Academy that you think should be noted, what would that be?
Well, for one thing, I would like for individuals that are really interested in seeing the progress of our young ones to visit my Facebook.
Okay.
Castle's Daycare Academy.
Okay.
I've been working hard over the years. I get a lot of phone calls for openings.
Okay.
I really don't have but 29 and usually 12 a year. So it makes it seem like it's very hard to get into the program, and it really somewhat is. But I am here, and I am looking for individuals that would be interested in understanding more about the curriculum, excuse me, that I have designed for melanated children. It's for all children, all children. But culturally, we have a culture.
Right.
Okay? Everyone has a culture, their culture. And I have built my program around the culture of the melanated children, because that's mainly where I'm located. That's what I work with for the most part. And that's where my interest began.
Okay.
Bringing them up to par. What is the missing factors? And I've been working for years, and I have found those factors. And I'm sure there's more, but I found many. And I've utilized them to place children in the school system that showed that the study showed that we're far beyond all children.
Wow.
In the district.
Amazing.
So it is amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a wonderful thing because it's a very easy thing to accomplish. It takes some dedication, but it's very, very easy to accomplish. So I want more people that, if you're interested in working with children, small children, and helping them to progress at a speedy rate to be the best they can be, give me a call, because I would be interested in talking with you.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you, Miss Cynthia Knight Boone, for this conversation. We're just so, again, just so proud and thankful for the work that you do, not just with BCDI, but just the work that you do in the community. We need more like you. We need more like you. And we're just excited about the future. And we can't wait to do part 2 of this conversation, where we can talk a little bit more about that curriculum and some of those factors, to be able to pull some of that out. I think that's going to be an amazing conversation.
I look forward to that.